What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video. And today we are going to be doing a mock of PFF's nice mock draft that came out yesterday. So if you guys do like this type of content, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And feel free to stick around because the goal is kind of 4250 by draft day. You know, it was originally 4K. We've blown that out of the water. So thank you guys for making that possible. And also, thank God that I'm not in that hotel room anymore. If you guys watched the pre-Deshaun Watson mock draft, it was pretty brutal. So thank y'all for having the patience with that one. Let's kick into this. Let's have a good time. Starting off with the number one pick. This is a live reaction. I haven't seen it yet, so we'll see what happens. But Jacksonville Jaguars go Aiden Hutchinson. Seems like the thing to do. They could still go Ike Ekwonu and kind of rest him for a year, but at this point, with the amount of money that they're investing in the offensive line, I highly doubt that that's the right way to go. So even, you have three tackles. You have Juwan Taylor along with Cam Robinson as well as Walker Little. So it just makes sense. It really does. So that's okay. Number two, we got Kyle Hamilton rising back up the boards. Of course, I think that KT, so people are saying the league isn't as high on him, but at the end of the day, when you think about it, KT is still known to probably be the highest ceiling player in the class. And I think that is definitely enough to be able to warrant him a number two pick. Kyle Hamilton needed to test like a freak to be able to justify having somebody of lower positional value at number two. The Lions could just be ballsy and just go after Ikem Ekwonu, stick him in at guard for a year or two, and then be able to get maybe a second or package some picks with Taylor Decker to get a first round pick. Regardless, I have no idea. Just having a little bit of fun trying to think out of the box. And you know what? Makes more fun content rather than me spewing off and shitting on Kyle Hamilton because he still is a phenomenal player. Number three, the Texans go Travon Walker. Kill me now. It's literally Travon Walker is going to be the best edge in the class if he's in the right situation, or else he's going to be the worst. It's just one of the two. Aiden, you already know, is going to be the most consistent. KT is a similar range, but Travon Walker at his size, speed, and just overall build, there's no one really that can kind of test him like that. That being said, Houston Texans are probably the last destination on the entire map that I would ever want for Travon Walker to go. Bit unfortunate, but I'm just not really a huge fan of it. Number four, the Jets get Ike Ekwonu. So for all those people who came and shit on me because you have George Fant for a year, what about now? I know that I honestly kind of forgot about Laken Tomlinson, even though I actually did the video when he actually joined the team. And I actually still have some free agency stuff to look at over the next couple of days. So if you guys are interested, feel free to stick around for that. I think Ike Ekwonu would be an amazing, amazing option. Honestly, I think that he could be the best guy in the class if the Jets actually want to sit him a year. I just don't get why people are so defensive when Ikem Ekwonu will probably be the starter in 1 year. I guess the Jets fans, since they have 2 first-round picks, want 2 instant impacts. I don't know, but I still think Ikem Ekwonu is a phenomenal pick. Giants going Evan Neal here. Since the Jets could set Ikem, it's probably worth it more than Evan Neal. So that's the only time I'd really say that's the bright idea. Evan Neal is still a phenomenal prospect. I'm starting to get a little bit down on him since he is losing a lot of weight. It's a little bit weird, but hey, you know what? Boosting the offensive line with Evan Neal is an A+ move. Panthers going Charles Cross, tackle, and I fully respect it and I fully support it. I think that's a phenomenal move, especially with them bringing back Donte Jackson on a 3-year deal. Amazing deal, by the way. I think that this would be the best move for the franchise if they're able to get Baker Mayfield. I think they should honestly try to trade either probably like a next year second. I just try next year second and then a this year fourth. I know this sounds pretty similar to what you gave up for Darnold, but Baker Mayfield, if you can somehow snag him for something other than a next year one, that might be the best case scenario. So definitely love this idea though. I really do. Being able to get an all-star left tackle is never a bad thing. Giants going Sauce Gardner out of Cincinnati. KT is still on the board if I'm not mistaken. So I think that honestly, when you're at that point, it's kind of, I love Sauce to death. He's my number 1 graded player in the class, and he's my number 1 player in the class. I still would rather go KT. I still would. I think the upside of a pass rush is a lot better than the upside of one solid corner. I think the secondary is strong enough as it is. And I personally would just go after somebody who could be really a number one overall pick. I love Sauce. Again, he's my number one player, but I would never think of taking him at number one. The highest I would do is 4. Still a solid pick. Just when you look at the guys on the board, you just can't pass that up. Falcons going Garrett Wilson here. I've been making that move myself. So I think that's perfectly fine. I would still look at Kayvon Thibodeau at that spot, though. But the Seahawks, of course, are able to snatch him up, who I think this is his absolute floor. Maybe the Jets at 10, but in case Seattle wants to go after Malik Willis, we'll see. But I think KT should be in that top 2 again. He should be. Number 10, the New York Jets go after Jermaine Johnson of Florida State, especially with the injury to David Ojabo. I think that Jermaine Johnson's stock just shot up a lot because no longer is it, well, we can get the upside of David Ojabo over the next year or so. It's like, well, that is not really an option anymore because Jermaine's more of a proven talent. Still a phenomenal player. I love Jermaine Johnson with a passion here. I just don't know if I would take him at 10. He is a redshirt senior. He's going to be a bit older. And I don't know. I think that wide receiver would have been a better route. I really do. But again, you can never complain about going edge. It is a phenomenal position of great value. Washington Commanders going Drake London. I think that's an A+ move for the franchise now that they have a quarterback, now that they've filled that guard spot with Andrew Norwell. I think that would be pretty good, especially for giving Carson Wentz a bigger target with some great hands. Number 12, Minnesota Vikings, Derek Stingley Jr. Honestly, I can't deny it. I think that Derek Stingley would be an excellent addition to the Minnesota Vikings secondary. I would consider going after Jordan Davis over him, but at the same time, it's a really big toss up at that point. You can get your Aaron Donald or you can get your Jalen Ramsey, of course, because the head coach is from the Rams. You can choose. And I think that either option is a really good choice. Even if Derek Stingley busts out, even if Jordan Davis busts out, you're still taking a chance on having an impact player for the next 10 to 20 years. And you're taking someone who could be known as the best of the class. And I think that that's phenomenal, especially at 12. People think that you have to hit on every pick in the first round. You really don't. And it's those top 15 picks that should probably be guaranteed day one starters. That's just what it's called, like blue chip, like day one starters. Then you can get your first round, like mid to late first round talents that have a chance of starting. You guys know the drill. But I think that this is a good spot to take a chance on someone who could be number one in the class. Derek Stingley, Jordan Davis, 2 of those guys who I think could be really big impact players. Texans getting Trent McDuffie. I think that's a phenomenal option if you do it in the second. Just not that big of a fan of Trent McDuffie. I have him as a 3rd round grade, but in the right scheme, which this is the perfect scheme for him, I could see him being an early 2. I think that he definitely tested out to have enough speed. And now it's just pretty much up to the scheme to be able to slot him in. And, he could be honestly a slot, no pun intended, but, he is still a solid corner. I know that PFF has a boner over him. I would be really pissed off if I ended up walking out of the draft with Trent McDuffie and Travon Walker with my first 2 picks. Like if I was number 13 and 31, I still wouldn't be very happy with that. I wouldn't be, especially when you could get offensive line, especially when you could even get wide receiver at this spot. I would just be really pissed off if that was what I walked away with. But number 14, the Ravens get Jordan Davis. Michael Pierce just came back, but again, it's on a 1-year deal. So getting Jordan Davis and making sure he's continually in shape definitely would not be a bad idea whatsoever. Again, you could go after a corner at the spot. Not really a big deal. I love the idea of going best player available. You could see Devin Lloyd come off the board here as well, though. But Jordan Davis is just too much of a freak. I could definitely see it. Eagles going Devonte, Wyatt, Fletcher Cox on a 1-year deal. So I know that this was probably made right before Fletcher Cox was re-signed for a 1-year deal. Regardless, I think that I still think that it's a good option long-term. I think Devonte Wyatt could become Fletcher Cox 2.0, and having Fletcher Cox to train him, not too shabby of a thing because he is a phenomenal interior defensive lineman. Burks to the Eagles. I already know I got some Burks fans down in the comment section. I think that's a phenomenal option if you don't get your guy in Juju Smith-Schuster, who just went to the Chiefs. This is kind of like your next best thing. Not obviously the same player, but that same idea of a larger receiver that is able to take most of the grunt work away from the safeties destroying Devonte Smith. I think this would be an amazing move. honestly, it makes so much sense too. You know how he's going to be going a wide receiver or some form of offense in round one. Offensive line doesn't really make exact sense right now, even though I love Tyler Linderbaum, one of my favorite dudes. I think Treylon Burks is a pretty solid option. I like it. Chargers going Trevor Penning, been making that move myself. Same thing with Treylon Burks here. So big fans of those. Same thing with Jameson to the New Orleans Saints. We have heard that they're pretty much almost guaranteed to bring back Jameis Winston. Jameson Williams would be a great receiver to pair with him. And if you guys want to see my receiver rankings, feel free to go check that out. I know that video doesn't really, like, rankings videos don't exactly hit the same way that mock the mocks, or especially for the amount of time investment. I just still know that there's a lot of you guys out there that want to see it. And rather than doing my cheap ass way, where I know a lot of these YouTubers do it this way now, especially some big ones, they just scroll through their rankings on TDN rather than like making slides for it. And I don't blame them, to be honest, with the return. It's just not as lucrative as the amount of time you put into this. But I know that there's those of you out there who really like to see that series, and I want to be proud of my own product. So I'm going to work my ass off regardless of the return. I do this when there's not enough time in the day, or if PFF comes out with one, because I respect them. So just want to let you guys know a little bit behind the scenes there. Yeah, if you guys like to see it, feel free to go check it out. I'm really proud of the series, and I put a lot of work into it, and I know that you guys appreciate it. So give it some love, because it does make it a lot easier for me to put it up, because I know that the return would be a bit better, and it makes it a little bit more understandable for me to put that many hours in to make you those slides. Regardless, still love this pick here with Jameson Williams, who was my wide receiver 8. That's why I was bringing that up. Devin Lloyd to the Eagles is a phenomenal option. Alex Singleton's gone. Let's pray to God that the Eagles actually target a linebacker for the first time since 1979. That's a big one. Steelers going Malik Willis. We all know that's not going to happen. He's going to be going a lot earlier, just because, again, quarterback is a premium position. That being said, with the amount of quarterbacks that have gone in free agency, it is just so shown that the NFL is not very high in this class. They're desperate. They're desperate to get somebody who can actually do something. So, I mean, I love Trubisky on the squad. Honestly, like, I shitted on it when I was thinking it was going to be like 20 mil a year. Yeah, it was like 7 million a year. It's pretty freaking awesome. Like, I think that's a phenomenal move, because it allows you to pay those linemen like James Daniels and stuff. So really big A+ move to the Steelers organization for doing that. But Malik Willis would be a damn steal. I would love that. Just not going to happen. Patriots going Kaiir Elam. I love it. I love it so much. It's probably one of my favorite fits. You don't have JC Jackson anymore. You don't have Stephon Gilmore anymore. You definitely need to go after a corner. Will Bill Belichick do his normal thing and go in the second or third or fourth? I hope to God not. I really do. But at the same time, he's still like, I mean, I know that Bill's going to do what Bill does. I just think Kaiir Elam's such a good fit. I think the Eagles should honestly bring him in, but that's just me. Green Bay Packers going Chris Olave here. I think that would be a great option. You don't even have a wide receiver 1, though. That's where I would start saying go Jahan Dotson, because Jahan has been able to take wide receiver 1 reps. Chris Olave has always been a number 2. Just that's been the way it goes. Whether I'm forgetting all the names of the wide receivers he's been behind, but you guys know the list of dudes, whether it's like Paris Campbell or Terry McLaurin, obviously Garrett Wilson now, but I'm just trying to think back to those dudes. Chris Olave has never been a true number 1. That would be kind of tough to stick him in the NFL and expect him to be a true number 1, but still a phenomenal pick, depending on what the next pick is. Cardinals going George Karlaftis. I don't mind it. I think that he'd be a really good pairing with JJ Watt, and I think that'd be a great replacement for Chandler Jones. Dallas Cowboys going Kenyon Green. Again, really big fan of that. He could play guard or tackle. I just really do love what you could see in the future for Kenyon Green, whether it's left tackle, right tackle, or left guard. There's some big holes on that offensive line. So the Dallas Cowboys going that definitely makes sense. Bills going Andrew Booth. I definitely see that happening. Levi Wallace going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Andrew Booth would be a great addition to the Buffalo Bills. Tennessee Titans going Tyler Smith. Y'all keep hating on him. I'm still going to stick my ground. This guy's phenomenal. He's worth a first-round pick. He is not a tackle, however. I just think he needs some work at guard and be trained by a high-end tackle to be able to actually succeed. So I think that Tyler Smith would be a great short run at guard, replacing Roger Saffold. I know that the Titans brought on a guard in free agency, but regardless, no pun intended, I think that he is a phenomenal talent, unbelievably raw, but oh man, the potential on this dude is through the roof. I love offensive line. I'm an offensive line guy. He's special. He is. If he's in the right system, he's going to be a complete crap offensive lineman if he goes to the wrong place because he's so technically flawed. But damn, that potential, if he's trained up right, he's going to be a freaking stud. Buccaneers going Zion Johnson, it just makes too much sense at this point. You got that guard spot open, and then again, Ryan Jensen ain't getting any younger. Even though he's on a 3-year deal, I still think that would be a phenomenal option. So I think Zion Johnson is probably your best bet. Could go corner here to try to get a corner too, but go with your best player. And honestly, you can never protect Tom Brady enough. 28 Packers going Boye Mafe. It makes so much sense that the Packers would do it, but I would really be pissed off if they did because you got a wide receiver 2 for Devonte Adams essentially, and then you got Boye Mafe. You got 2 guys who probably won't be able to make a good enough impact year 1 to be able to push this team to Super Bowl contention. Again, Jahan Dotson's on the board. I would love to see Jahan Dotson, and you could also see Chris Olave pairing up on this team. That would be a dynamic duo, similar to how Parker Washington was a great number 2 there at Penn State. Dolphins going Linderbaum, that would be a dream. And honestly, I think that might have happened in the most recent mock. Ridiculous. Again, he's a top 5 player on my board. Just, it is the way it is. Chiefs going David Ojabo after an Achilles tear. That really, really sucks. It sucks. Yeah. So this was apparently before they saw how severe the injury was. I don't think he's going to be there. I mean, I think he is going to be there. I just don't think he's going to be taken at this spot. It really sucks because he's a very high-end edge rusher, but he definitely fell below a lot of edges on my board because it is just so close. Like that gap between edge 3 and edge 2 or no, wow. Numbers edge 4 and like edge 9 or edge 10, super thin, razor thin, and all in their own unique ways. So David Ojabo being hurt might drop him a little bit, but on that rankings list might drop him a lot. And in the NFL draft, he's never been an edge 1 either. So it honestly might benefit him for this injury. Bengals going Bernhard Raimann. I pray to God that they go after Lyle Collins. I might just be a complete dumbass and not realize they signed somewhere, but I think that Lyle Collins would be a much better option than stupid Bernhard Raimann. And no disrespect to the guy himself. I just think that the overhype on this dude is ridiculous, and it's putting a lot of pressure on a dude who's been playing tackle for 2 years to come in and play at a super high level. It's wrong. It is wrong. You just don't do that because, again, he's still trying to learn the damn position. Super raw player. When I watched him, it's like I didn't like what the hype was all about. I couldn't see it. I have him as like an early 3rd rounder. And that's, like I forced him into that late 2nd because of the fact that, there's all this hype around him. He's not ready. And you're throwing him into a situation where he's going to need to protect a potentially Super Bowl winning quarterback, obviously 1 play away from being able to contend for a Super Bowl or contending for a Super Bowl title. I just don't like it at all. I really don't. If I'm the Bengals right here, I might be going after a corner. I really would. I just don't like it. I really don't. And again, I like what it is in the long run. I just hate to think that you're going to stick Bernhard Raimann on the opposite side that he was playing, where he wasn't playing good enough as it is, and then saying, hey, you know what? Go in, protect Joe Burrow. Like, man, that would really suck. You could also probably go after like Nakobe Dean or something if you want, but that's just not good. And then, of course, Nakobe Dean ends off at 32. So the Detroit Lions end off doing all right. I still think that they could have went after an edge rusher. I'm not that big of a fan of Kyle Hamilton that high. But regardless, that is going to be the video, guys. Who actually did this one? That's on me for actually not reading that. It was Trevor Sikkema. He's an entertaining ass dude. So big respect to him, but not that big of a fan of the mock. Still, everybody's not going to be a fan of any mock. Like, that's just the way it rolls. So I guess I want to hear what you guys think about it down in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the far side. Peace.